It's on the agenda, the new agenda, so appoint recommendation to the
Okay,
select board.
cool.
So,
Welcome back.
I will call the meeting to order. 10:03 a.m. Adjustments to agenda. I have one. We need to just have Lisa, go over the as-built grand list submission. And you
we're
have
gonna
to sign.
we're gonna file the final as built as of January. So it's actually all been filed. You guys just need to approve and sign it, so.
As of January 2025.
Yeah,
So we'll
January,
do
it's due January 15th, 2025. So it's under the calendar items, review of calendar. It just isn't there.
Oh, change in appraisal, 2024. Oh, the review of calendar, okay.
Yeah, under the,
So-
that's
So
where,
change and
Yep.
approve.
yep, approve as build grand list.
So does that mean it's as of 12:30?
Well, it's as of today. It's
Okay.
due January 15th, so, and it was done this morning.
Oh, so we are right on time.
We are right on time.
Okay. Any other adjustments to the agenda? If we move the appointment of Mary, does she up sooner in the agenda?
No, because the
has
select
to
board
go to the select
actually
board.
has to approve her, so.
Okay.
We have no public.
No public, none. Minutes approval from 12:02:24. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? I think we're good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And, okay, review of financial report. So how are we doing?
So we know the mapping line item is over because of the additional work that you guys did. They charged us for that. So that's why it's over, but it's also been under budgeted the last, what did I say, 3 out of the last 5 years. So I reached out to Franco at CAI to find out exactly what we would be billed, and we should be budgeting $5,700.
Okay.
So,
Did you fix that? in the-
so so I fixed that in the fiscal year 25-26 budget to $5,700. So that was the change that was made to the budget submitted to the select board.
Okay,
And that is why we are 128% over the actual budget for fiscal year 24-25. Because we should have been billed an annual amount of $5,700, not 49, and then we had the extra $600 for the additional work they've been doing.
okay, so on the back of that page shows.
It shows that that's the
700. Okay.
26, 27, 25, 26 budget. Yeah, that was.
So we're up 4%.
Total.
The total budget for
Yes.
25 would be
Yep.
4%.
Mhm. And a lot of that was the managed services because we are changing, starting, we had our first kickoff meeting last week. Moving from Panergy Epic IT to VC3 for computer managed services. And we had a great deal with Panergy and then they were bought out by Epic IT and the fees were gonna go up a lot and we haven't been happy with them. So we put out a RFP for companies. And VC3 was awarded the contract, so, and it's just substantially higher. So that's why there is the VC3,
2,800.
46% increase over, yep. And the telephone, we still have to figure out because we removed the telephone from you don't have a telephone on your desk anymore. In case you didn't notice.
I myself.
So, we moved that to the, assistant, Lori Chalmers' desk in the office. So, because the listers don't need 3. So. So that is gonna get adjusted, for this year's budget too, is the telephone.
Those are for, do we need to make a motion on the budget going forward to FY 25? This is for information, really.
Right,
This
that's
is where
for,
we're at.
yes, your information of where we are in the current budget. And then, yeah, that's, unless you want to make a change, that's what's been submitted, and that's what the select board has already approved for a budget for fiscal year 25-26.
Okay.
They made a motion at their last meeting to approve, and they're just signing it at their meeting next week, so. They were okay with
Okay,
the correction.
then I think that's really just informational. Yep. Townwide reappraisal.
So we have not heard anything from anybody else. So to fill Mary in, we had Tyler Technologies reached out, that's Tom Vickery's son, John.
Mhm.
Had a long conversation, said he would be sending a proposal, although we haven't received it yet. And we had a response from a firm in Middlebury saying they would not be submitting a proposal as it was out of their scope, like area that they do, so.
And Tom's son's name is
John Vickery. And that's it. Those are the only 2. I did hear, and I haven't reached out to them, that Grand Isle got a proposal from Callis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
Now, Alice, I'm just trying geographically. Is it comparable to our area?
very rural.
Grand Isle,
Yeah, well,
Calais?
the islands.
oh, Callis is the company.
Oh, okay.
Callis
I thought you meant Calais.
is for Callis, Vermont. No, Callis is the company that reached out to Grand Isle and gave a proposal.
Oh,
It's another assessing firm.
where are they from?
Where are they from? I think it's Callis. I think CALAIS.
Is it also from the town? Is it?
Is it from Callis, Vermont?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's a good question. Stuff they proved. Oh, you know what? I've got my stuff right here. My list of approved appraisers. Oh, it's called they're Patriot Properties.
Oh,
It's, Catalyst. I'm sorry, I totally screwed that up. So Catalyst Taxing Cama Inc. It's Patriot.
And they're out of where?
Salem, Mass.
Oh,
wow.
They're from Salem, Mass. And
They're going to
bidding
Grand
on-
Isle.
they're bidding Grand Isle, wow,
And why they wouldn't want to do both of us,
yeah.
I don't know. But again, I haven't confirmed that with,
Did you solicit a bid from them?
I did. I did.
so you haven't talked to Sue?
I have not talked to Stuart, no.
Huh.
Benton was the one that he thought he had heard that, and Benton's been now on family leave since October, November.
Oh,
Had a new baby, and he and his wife were kind of taking turns as to who was gonna take leave when, so her leave was up and he's on, and I talked to PBR this morning and he's not back yet, so. But no, I have not reached out to Sue.
just curious.
Yeah, I'll shoot her an email
Yeah,
and see what she says. Yeah,
because didn't we, this was a while ago, but didn't we propose that maybe we
do it together.
team up?
Mhm. Yep, interesting conversation with John, cause I mentioned that to John, like, is it beneficial to have like more than one, I said Grand Isle and North Hero. We're willing to team together and, and I said, and Benton has encouraged me to drag in South Hero because he doesn't think they're actively, maybe. So. He's like, if you could get South Hero involved in that too, that'd be great. And I'm like, okay. And John was hesitant about it. So,
Maybe a time thing.
Well, it's 5 times as much work.
yeah,
Yeah. And.
but I would think, I mean, they're doing St. Albans.
Yeah.
Tyler Technologies doing St. Albans, and they've got to be
Pretty bigger than us.
more than we have, right?
Mhm.
I would think. So, I don't know.
Well, I imagine it would tie up a lot of people and a lot of time, and I don't know what other areas they do rather than just reappraisals of the
Yeah,
town.
right, right.
So they may be committed to
Other
other.
things,
things.
yeah, and Tyler Technologies, you've worked with Tyler Technologies on timekeeping software stuff, and so it's not you're right, it's not just appraisal, so. He just felt, based on different things that he's heard about North Hero, of course, from his father, I'm sure that he thought it would be a good fit for his team, so. Yeah, but I'll reach out to Sue and see what she says. Somebody had heard South Hero had one too, and I reached out to them and they're like, no, we don't have anything.
Mhm.
So it could just be the rumor mill.
Yeah.
So that's it, I got nothing else to offer, but to Phil, Mary, and one of the other recommendations was from John, was to change from Nemrick to Patriot, right? Patriot software.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, and when I went to a training in August, I think, I talked to St. Albans and, gosh, where were they from? The listers from somewhere else. St. Albans was in the middle of the reappraisal with Tyler Technologies, and this other, I don't think it's up in the Northeast Kingdom somewhere, has contracted with Tyler, and both had nothing but great things to say about them. And St. Albans did change to Patriot software, and she said, you will love it. She said, it's much easier to use. And John said the same thing, and the whole inactive parcel thing, there's none of that in Patriots. It's all listed just the part, they handle it differently, so it's
Yeah.
not an inactive parcel, which is what we're finding an issue with CAI and the mapping online and. So, and he gave me the contact information to reach out to Patriot to see about, and I haven't done that yet either, but I'm guessing there's gonna be more money,
Mhm.
so,
Mhm.
yeah.
If it's easier and you can get through your work faster
Faster,
Right.
yeah.
and it's more understandable. I think,
It might be very much worth it.
yeah,
Nemrick is struggling. I went to a training with Nemrick and they're struggling. They're trying to move to an online based software system. And they have plans to do it. They don't have the funds to do it. And they don't, because they'd have to hire an outside company to actually do the work. And they don't have the funds to do that. Or the other option is to hire more staff and do it in-house, but they don't have that either. So they're kind of stuck right now. They've moved their animal licensing software to an online base. That was the first, and then they were gonna do each module, like accounts payable, payroll, grand list, tax admin separately, and realized they just all talk to each other so much that you can't, it's gonna have to be one at the same time, and they just don't have the staffing or funding to do that. So their software is definitely outdated.
Yeah.
It's Fox Pro. So, yeah, that has been used in, I don't know, 20 years.
Wow.
So,
well, it seemed to me it was outdated when we used it.
yeah, yeah,
So,
which is probably why the state has chosen not to go with them for the grand list. Although they did renew the contract with Nemrick because Vermont Pi is not ready to go live yet. So all the billing eventually will be, and the grand list maintenance will eventually be done through VT Pi. Is the goal from the state, but they were not there either. They haven't.
I think the original goal was like July
Uh,
1st.
Oh, like 2023, I think.
Yeah.
And then it was 2024, and now, they've signed another year's contract with Nemrick because they're not ready. So, wow. So that's where that is. So,
Okay,
That's an update on the reappraisal.
equalization study,
So I have spent. We got the equalization study,
that's this first one.
yep. The final. Our common level of appraisal has dropped to 62.02%. I think it was 73 something. 73.59. And our COD is 20.84%, which I think has dropped a little bit. I think it actually got a little better, but.
I think it was above 20 last
I
year.
think it was above 20. See
I would say that jives with what we're seeing
what we're seeing. Yeah, it
for
is.
sales.
Mhm.
People are selling for twice the assessed value.
Oh, I believe it.
And the
So
interest,
basically your house is worth about 40% more than the grand list thinks it is.
and that's about what everything's selling at, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, we're selling at 60%.
Absolutely.
Pretty sure. So it's probably pretty accurate.
What is the category O and M?
O is other. So other falls into like if you were South Burlington and had all like condominiums, you could put, it's a category that doesn't fall under something else. Other for us is lakefront.
Oh, okay.
So anything that is a lakefront property goes under other. Miscellaneous is vacant land. No lakefront. So it's vacant land with no lakefront. So I have been through, which is not included in your packet,
What's the COD that triggers a reappraisal? Is it just over
over
20?
20%.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything over 20% triggers the reappraisal. And the state changed the calculation for the CLA and we can't seem, there's been a lot of information on the meeting net. The listserv, whatever they call it for the listers. About how, so now they're taking the 62.02%. And adjusting it with a statewide CLA number. So our 2024 statewide adjusted CLA is 72.36%. And all I've been able to figure out is with the calculations they've done, it does not make any change to what your taxes would be or the education portion of the taxes. It doesn't change that at all. All it did was take one piece of the formula from the yield number and move it to after the yield calculation. It's very confusing. Please don't ask me to, because it's really, really confusing and I can't explain it. And I haven't quite figured it out to have it make sense to me yet. And I spent a lot of time on it this week and there's been a lot of emails about it, people questioning it too, because they can't just, I mean, the whole equalization education formula is very difficult to understand and now they've made this change and nobody can figure out why. If it doesn't change the end result, why would you make another level? You know, add this confusion, another level of confusion, but they can't seem to get a good answer about that either, so.
And also, I think that the real CLA is probably the 62s, I mean, from what we're seeing in sales here anyway.
Yeah. So I have gone through all of the equalization. All of the properties that fall under the equalization, into the equalization study. It's 3 years of sales, April 1st, 2021 through March 31st, 2024. And I didn't look at the previous 2 years because the listers and Tom have already been through that, and I don't think we could appeal something from 2 years ago anyway. Don't know, unless you were really fighting it.
It's, in my opinion, is you can't really, you waste your time appealing the PDR.
And that's possible. We did get one last year appealed and it probably was from the year before, but Tom tried to appeal it the year before and they said no, and then he pushed it again last year and they did say yes, so they did remove it, so. So I felt like the previous 2 years were pretty solid, so I looked at only what was in the last year. And then I did go through all of our sales to make sure that there was everyone that was supposed to be included, has been included. there is one property on Butler Island that didn't show up anywhere. And it's interesting because it's a handwritten, normally the PTTRs go through the My Tax system and come out all printed. This was handwritten by the buyer and the seller and submitted to us, and then we had to mail it to the state. And I'm wondering if it didn't get entered.
Oh.
So I
Okay.
reached out to PVR this morning and, she, because Benton's not back yet, Teresa, I sent this to her. She said, send it to me. She was in the car on the way to a meeting and I emailed it to her and she's gonna look in to see why, because it should have been included. I think it should have been included. And those that weren't included either were a subdivision or a butter bought it, or involved real property based on what the verification letter said. Whether like one camp sold with all the furnishings and 2 sailboats, and that was in the price of the, so which distorted the price. So all of those were excluded.
They
So
just exclude the wholesale
they
in that
exclude the
case.
wholesale. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only one I'm questioning was, and I don't think it matters because you have to have at least 5 sales in the category. And we don't, is the commercial category where the North Hero Marina, not the North Hero Marina, the other one, New England Powerboat sold. The one on Bridge Road, that was included and it had a ratio of 103, but I think they took out. Because a lot of that equipment was included in that price.
That it was.
And I think that I'd have to go back to the PTTR because I think they sold it for 750,000 and it's only listed as 450. I think they took out all the property
Yeah.
and just did the stuff. And the other so there's 3 commercial properties listed. And one
Is
of
that
them,
the C category?
yeah, one of them wasn't a commercial property, it's and it was just categorized wrong. Tom and I went through this last year. The other one was that little, what was it, the little night store or the little cafe or whatever it was down on South End Road on the corner there.
Yeah.
That's a commercial property. And that too had a ratio of 100.83.
That's sold.
Oh, well, it sold in 2021.
Oh.
It's for sale again. It hasn't sold yet,
Yeah.
but it did, so it's still on here. And it had a ratio of 100.83 and then, this Bridge Street Marina, New England Powerboat had 103.29. The other third property on here is 5267 US Route 2 up by Cary Bay that has 2 homes. It should have never been categorized as commercial. I'm not sure why. It's got 2 camps on it, but none of the other places with 2 camps are commercialized, so I'm not sure. I think that was just a wrong category. So, but you have to have 5 in the category to have it be legit, so I don't, they take instead of taking the category rate, they take the town rate.
Oh.
So I don't think that one would not anyway. So I'm just waiting to hear back on this one property. So I don't know what you want to how you want to handle that, because it has to go to the select board next Monday to appeal. If we question anything. Because it has to go to Vermont, the state by the 30th. Any appeals to the equalization study have to go to the state by the 30th, have to be submitted by the 30th. It has to come from the select board.
So the advantage, what's the advantage and disadvantage of appealing?
So because we're such a small town,
Hmm.
the more sales you have in your study, the better. It's just gonna help your numbers just because we're just so small. So having one being left out,
That's the one on the island.
Yeah. But
I don't know that.
I
it's
would
gonna-
think, as you say, the more the better, but if it's a really outlier thing, maybe the best would, not put it in.
Not put it in there at all.
Is it an outlier?
Or an outlier.
Let's see, what was the ratio?
That's the one that was like half an acre and.
I hate the ones that are handwritten, I can't
Yeah.
see where everything is.
Cause it has a 0.53 here somewhere.
Yep, 0.53 acres.
So it has to have grandfather,
Right, yeah.
right?
Yeah, is there something on it? Maybe.
I think there's, yeah.
So the ratio is 0.66, so it's right in line
So it won't make any difference.
if we add it or take it out.
Yeah.
Does say it was fully furnished when it was sold.
Okay, so then you need to throw it out because it's fully furnished.
Which could be why it's not on there. But it's not on the excluded list either.
Huh.
Like I went through the whole excluded list tonight.
So it really won't make any difference whether it's
It's
appealed
on
or
our, so not even bother.
not. And on Butler Island, there aren't any palaces with fabulous furniture and and appointments, you know what I mean?
There
So
might
it's
be
not
one.
like it would be that.
Plattsburgh's is pretty.
There's a
isn't it?
couple.
Yeah,
Well, yes,
Yeah.
Walters, yeah.
yeah, but most of them are
Pretty rustic.
shack, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know, that one that they're building on the end is gonna be pretty nice.
Yeah.
and it may change, you know, over the next few years.
So,
Property rising in value as fast out there as.
so, Tom has said that Butler Island is one of the areas that's way undervalued, that's way off. That it should be more.
That we've
The
under.
present assessment,
Present assessment is really, it's
yeah,
way off.
way under what it is on.
He said that he gave me areas for the reappraisal that we really need to focus on, and Butler Island was. is one of those.
I'm just curious because,
No
Well, I said-
services, no.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's no utilities, no
service.
water.
Yes, there, you've got to have decent weather.
It's good
There,
point.
you know, and there's no drinking water unless you make your
Poured
own.
it in. Yeah.
It just seems like
Maybe because, yeah,
everything has to be brought out there, like you would use a gas stove, so you'd have to
Bring your propane
bring
tank
it,
out.
yeah.
your own person, yeah, good point.
But there's more and more of them that have solar,
Well, yeah.
Composting toilets.
composting toilet, internet,
Internet, yeah,
Internet.
Yeah.
generators with, that are
Oh,
solar
so-
powered, yep. Satellites for,
satellites for.
So they have that set up now on the island? Oh, okay. So when I was out there, there was nothing.
Yeah, we've been out there for years.
No. No.
Rustic then.
Yeah, we had
Except for
somebody come
Plattsburgh
and
and
say, saw you on my property.
yeah, they have cameras.
Was that you with cameras?
Oh.
I said, yes, we were.
So, yeah, I mean, there's still some that are rustic, but there are some that are really,
Well,
So I guess things are changing up there, values would change.
I don't know what was
So-
on Damius Island before, but what's on there now is a beautiful.
yeah, it's a beautiful place.
That's solely owned by one person, isn't it?
Well, they own the island, yeah.
Yeah, it's only about 12 acres or something like that.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice camp though. It's gonna be a nice camp.
When I, just before I bought our first place up there, we looked at Butler.
Mhm.
And then I'd drive up Friday night from Connecticut, and it's midnight and it's pouring rain, so it's like, God, I don't have to.
Go out
jump
there,
in a boat
Jump in a
and
boat
load
and
the
get
boat.
out there.
The other thing that's happening out there is people are flying in with their seaplanes.
Ah.
Used to be an airport out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the
It's
strip
right up-
is still there. I don't know if it's used, but now they're using seaplanes. There was one that came in when we were out there.
Yep.
And Holly said that it's more and more.
No, I totally makes sense.
Must be people.
Still can't go without good weather.
Can't, you
Nope.
you're, yeah,
And if it's bad
Depends
weather,
on
you
the
might have to
wind.
stay there.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, the people who are buying are in planes, maybe the people who are, more well-to-do and. Have done past.
yeah. Interesting.
So this says CLA 7395. Oh, because they do something adjusting between the statewide one and the,
Which one?
like a certified final.
I'm lost with all these papers.
Where do you see 7395?
So, material is
What
certified
page?
final,
What page number?
and it's page two, that says page page 6.
Page 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. Yeah. On the top of it, it says. Oh, this is certified. This is the computation sheet. And then the next page says,
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's Hughes. That's, current use.
oh, that's current use.
Current use, yep. So the current use CL, like 739.
Okay. So we have 679,900 acres of land and road and current use.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know.
So you just wanna forget it?
Or the missing piece out
The
there.
I don't have a
piece?
say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, it doesn't sound like, it sounds like it isn't gonna make any difference anyway.
Especially if it's gonna hold us up,
Yeah, yeah.
because if we appeal, then we don't get. The final. Certification,
Right, yep.
And don't we need that?
And I
for
don't know how
town
long,
Budget and, yeah,
yeah, but that's not till June.
oh, okay.
So this will come in long before that. And I'm like, well, Jim said it's probably not gonna move that number much at all. Although, where is
But in terms of accuracy, was that pulled out
lakefront?
of,
Because this is a lakefront property,
Mhm.
applied ratio 61.73. The property came in at 66. What did I say, 66.6? So it's a little higher.
what does it do to this person's assessment and
Nothing.
nothing? Whether it's in or out,
To the person, yeah, no, it's just the overall.
but it should be. And there's a part of me that says, get it. It should be accurate,
It could be, it should be accurate.
but if it's,
And then even, you know, how much of a fuss are people gonna make over it? Just say, hey, this is missing. Or, you know. Yeah.
it's kind of interesting, they never entered it.
And I'm not sure that that's what happened. It's just weird that it's one of
Yeah.
the handwritten one. There, we get very few of these.
Yeah.
Well, it'd probably be good to find out why it's not.
Why it's not included.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you can,
Then we can,
yeah, justify one way or the other.
Okay, so,
would have to go to the select board on Monday, right?
right, so
In order for them to appeal. Will she get back to you today?
she said no, she was in meetings all day, that it would probably be tomorrow.
This select board meeting tonight.
Monday, next Monday.
Next.
So we have this week.
It's Martin Luther King Day, does that affect them?
They chose to, meet.
Next Monday's Martin Luther King Day?
Yeah, okay. But the office is closed. So,
I'd leave it up to Lisa's discretion.
Yeah, yeah.
But
well,
depending on what
you know,
you hear
because I
from her.
asked, when I sent her the information, I said, let me know,
Yeah,
next steps. So I'll see what they suggest.
Yeah.
What they're suggesting.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, just go with her.
Whatever they say.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're sort of the bosses anyway.
Okay, that's what we will do. So, I didn't see any other issues going through all of, and Benton and I had you verify them through VT Pi, and Benton had called and asked me about some of them anyway. I had uploaded the sales verification sheets. I took it off from her notes and uploaded it into VT Pi, so he had all the notes for everything. So, yeah, other than this one missing, I don't see any.
Remember when this was easy?
Did you now have to do this, the equalization study?
No, we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I want to read more about this because it's a little mind boggling.
It's very mind-boggling. There is a, and I can email this to you, it's the introduction to Vermont's equalization study from PDR. And I talked to, it doesn't talk about the education calculation, but it does tell you everything.
Yeah, I'd like.
Yeah, you want
it. It's been a while.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll put it in my bedside reading.
It'll put you to sleep.
That's a good cure for insomnia, yeah.
Good cure.
Okay, I'll email that to all of you.
Either that or. keep
And
it
then
late.
I'll
Yeah.
email you the final two. You want to see the breakdowns? I didn't have it at first. I couldn't find it at first. It didn't come with the other. And then I found it in BT Pie, so
No,
why it wasn't in your packet. But if you want to see the individual, you guys want to see the individual sales? No, I'll send you that. Okay.
that's how all the individual sales for the last year,
It's the last 3 years.
Last
and
3
then how
years.
they get,
that's how they get this. Yeah, okay.
well, maybe I did include it in your packet. You
I
got it.
thought I saw.
Oh, okay, no, I did, okay, good. Cause it took me a little while to find it and then, okay, good, then you do have it. Great,
Okay,
Right.
so these are,
So I did-
this is what.
that's
that is
individual,
based
yes, those are the individual by category. And there were some categories we didn't have any properties that sold in over the last 3 years,
on. Oh, that's good.
so.
Hold on.
That's the 16.
The 16 pages, yeah,
Yep.
that is by category of each sale that's been included in the study.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put that, this, then I'm gonna read the. Description, how it works, okay. And then, okay, our next thing is we have a list of vacancies. Jim, would you like to make a motion? About our list of vacancies to appoint Mary Matilio?
Okay, I recommend that we appoint Mary DiTilio as a lister.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Welcome aboard, Mary. I guess it goes to the select board Monday or
So,
today?
I'll do up a letter, or you do want to do up a letter? We must have, I couldn't find a template. You must have it on your
I
computer.
do, somewhere.
We'll do
Okay.
that and send that to the select board. You can sign it as chair. Everybody agrees.
Okay.
We all agree. Rather tickled.
And she's got her consent to be on the ballot and she has her signatures on her petition.
She has enough signatures. As of today, so.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, and then this is our. Oh no, status of workers now. That changes. We are current, that changes. Sal's verification letter, we're current with that. I will be mailing out 4 more letters today. Building permits. Lisa,
But yeah, they're all logged in. They're all up to date.
and we will be starting to take pictures.
With inspections, yep. So everything that I've sent you is uploaded. So
Yep.
everything we have is uploaded.
I believe so. I do need.
It's
to
hard
check
now that we
Yeah.
can't tell on the website, now that we found out that they're not updating on the
We have to go
website.
into Cameron and look at them.
It's going to be on the website, yep.
PTTR entries are up to date.
The PTTR entries are all up to date, yep. So we're in good shape as far as work status.
Wow.
And we are getting ready to do inspections.
And so training update.
Training update, I am registered for the IAAO 101 class that's taking place the end of January for, what was it? Appraisal, right? Appraisal or something. Yeah, it's 5-day class and that's the second class that I need to get my level 2. So I've got the data collection done and then this is the second one and then I need another year of experience and I can go for level 2. So
Wow, good for you.
I can't remember what the class is though now. It's something to do with the appraisal approach, what is it called?
Actually, and then you have been doing site inspections with Danielle.
Doing some site inspections with Danielle, but I've left some of the bigger ones. Like there's 2 new homes on Blockhouse Point that I left. She went and did them on her own. So yes, in your packet is the notice for inspection that we'll put out, post around town and put out. Um. Did I put it in there?
Yep,
In your
page
packet.
25.
Okay, yep, that's gonna go to, Islander. I can get that out to get in this week's Islander. If you approve, I put as of the 13th, I put as today because I had done this for last week, but I can change that date.
How many inspections does it like?
How many?
There's some that we wanted to revisit, right?
There were some notes from last year that were, there were a couple places that aren't done. We've got to do Stevens Camp Road, the Nettie Place on Stevens Camp. They did all that renovation. There's the new house on Knights Vista. That wasn't done last year, we need to do. Got 2 new homes on Block House. There's some new porches and decks and stuff going on.
Garages, yeah.
Garages on Holiday Point, we need to do.
Garage at the end of my road. That's. new.
Buttons.
Yeah.
Yep, we've got that one. Who else do we have? Students, building permits.
Is there a timeline? Or are they done?
Greener.
They're at the end of my road. They still own it. Yeah, they,
Old West Shore?
yeah. Maybe it's been done a while, I don't know.
I only have Greener.
I don't know, I only seen them in a truck.
We only have Buttons Place, addition and the new 2-story barn going in for Old West Shore,
Yeah,
but we'll take a drive and see.
yeah, it just looked like a new garage at the end, but it's not new, you know, it may have been there for.
Not Kaluna,
I don't
the
know.
big modern place with the big
No.
garage that's upstairs, just past you.
No,
That we saw last year. Remember that garage?
yes, that was, yeah, we heard that pounding.
Yeah, you probably
inside
did. Yeah, that was,
Trucks and,
we're
we're not used to traffic on our road.
On your road. So would this add Mary's name to it?
yes. So,
Oh, great.
um,
Although it'd probably be mostly you and I doing these inspections, right?
yeah, but you're just letting people know as the listers. So how do you want to do that? Because Mary officially isn't a lister until next week,
Oh,
but I
I
can
just-
wait and post it next week.
Yeah,
Include your name and I'll do it as a, okay.
as of January 20th,
Yeah,
because it would be approved tonight?
next Monday.
Next month,
Select board
okay.
meets next Monday. What else have we got? We have a couple places on Abenaki. Just one needs updated pictures, one is replacing a wash house, which isn't even taxed. Oh, we put in for a new roof. Check that out.
South End Road,
Abenaki.
no, there's
Oh, is there something on South? Oh, so
the new construction,
that's all done.
yeah,
Uh,
it sold, I think.
It did sell.
Yeah, I saw mailbox out there.
Yep, nope, I went and did that with Danielle. That's 100% dwelling that's finished. Got a couple places on. Maryland's done. We did Maryland last year.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why that's still on there. We can take that off. So there's a couple that we just need pictures. There's a couple of things, there's a new pole barn on Watson's Ridge. It's a big pole barn.
Yep.
That we need to do.
isn't there a new barn on Lakeview Drive?
You try.
Because he's gonna give it a separate 911 number.
Oh, yeah, Tom and I went there last year. Carton, place, there's a couple places on.
Yeah.
A couple places on Holiday Point. There's the new dwelling on Four Winds. We'll have to wait till closer to. April 1st, because that's kind of in trend.
They're gonna have a separate, it's gonna be a new road because there's now 3 residences on. 4 Winds goes like this and there's a.
Beefy Point, there's a couple of things on Beefy Point going on. One, they took down a big house on the end and are building a new,
They took that down?
they took down $1 million home to put up a $3 million home.
Okay.
So we'll have to go out there and see what's going on as of April 1st.
Yep.
A couple of things on Cary Bay, Corinne's made some changes and removed their mobile home, so we gotta do that, and there's some pictures out there. Couple of things on Bridge Road. Block House, so. Yeah, quite a lot. And then there's Butler Island. We have 4 things out on Butler Island and Danius
Daniels
Island,
Island, because that is under construction.
so
Well, you won't be able to do that
until later on,
until the following. Yeah,
so,
Yeah,
until the weather gets nicer.
because when we went out, the water between the 2 islands was deep enough to go across with the pontoon boat, but she said you can walk across.
Yeah, it was dropping that day, remember? When we
Yeah.
came back, she had to slow right down because it had dropped.
yeah, last year the water was low. And you guys went late,
We did. It was late,
so it's better to go while
early.
people are there with docks. So you
So
don't.
we
get-
talked about doing it in the fall. And then what happened? We didn't do it in the fall. Because it's better to do it when the docks are there in
Oh,
the
yeah.
summer.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
how do we know? I guess figuring that nothing changes in the winter out there, is that the premise?
Yeah, the docks were mostly gone, weren't they, now?
Yeah, there weren't very many docks put in yet. But there's only 4 building permits out there, so
So that's not too bad.
that's not too bad. We did a lot of cleanup last year, which was why we had probably 10 or 12 going out there.
I don't think anyone had been out there
Oh,
for a while.
didn't you guys go every year? No?
We went.
We did,
Couple
that was
years.
fun.
We went 2 years ago because I was accusing Tom of initiation.
Cause he made you walk
That's
around the whole island?
Well, I didn't know you had to take off your shoes
Oh.
and jump in the water to go on the island.
You were prepared though this time.
This time I was prepared.
Couple on Bow and Arrow Point, there's a new camp out there. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're gonna start them now and. Get it done.
And I think now that they're in order by road, it's gonna be a lot easier to do.
Oh, absolutely. I remember pulling those.
Pulling and trying to go, okay, where are we going? Yeah, we'll just do it road by road. And we've marked the ones where people have asked to have an appointment. Maybe to do the exterior part, so. This report is so we're set on that, right? On the,
No, yep, so we're good on the notice. I'll add Mary's name, change the date and
yep,
put that out next week. Yep.
Oh, and then we need to approve the as-built grand list.
Yep, so the assessment changes, I gave you, you guys, it didn't print like highlighted. So I went through and
Oh, good.
highlighted, you had asked me,
The new ones.
the new one,
Look
yeah,
at it before.
so you have a new one at the end that shows the highlighted ones that changed. So every meeting, we go through the assessment changes, whatever they're made,
Okay,
and there's no way to print from what was changed from the last meeting to the next meeting. You just get one
Oh.
report. I haven't figured out a way to do that yet, so I went through and highlighted for each of you.
Oh, so
Okay.
this is the original. and this
That's
is
the
highlighted.
original, yeah,
Okay.
and it did, I highlighted it before I scanned it and it didn't pick up the highlight.
yeah,
I gotta figure out a different way to do that. So anyway, I went through and highlighted one for each of you. So starting at the top, the Brooke Anderson house is 100% complete. That was the big one on Lipizan Lane. So that is the new value. We've added the deck and the enclosed porch. And he was in and I talked to him and he's like, that's it. He was pretty thrilled about that. He goes, you don't want to know what I paid for it. And I said, okay. I probably don't. So,
And you'll probably find out.
So that one's 100% complete. We just have to take updated pictures. They were doing the landscaping out there, the day I went, so there was stuff all over, so. Next one, arms.
They added,
So this, okay, so this is the house on Four Winds Lane on the corner that just sold, the brick house that was for sale.
oh, yeah,
So it changed, it changed. There was a deed going from the wife to the husband. And then he passed away. And we haven't gotten. Yeah, change in title. So then it was sold. So there was two changes in title. The other thing that happened with all of those homes on Four Winds. The house on the end, they went to court, were brought to court about their people's easement to the lake. And we got 7 deeds granting access to all of those people on Four Winds Lane to the beach area.
wow,
And each one was different.
50 feet.
oh, no.
50, but some had, there was one house that had limited hours, who could go, no animals, and what they could do, and
No
then
boat,
no boat, no dock. Then others had use of a dock and boat. It was really weird. So this added easement for lake and beach. We went, Kathy and I went through and added about whatever the difference was there. What's that difference? 12,000. It was about 12 to $15,000, depending on
What was in there?
what was in the easement.
Yeah.
I was here to figure each one separately, depending on what the restrictions were.
Yeah.
Wow. Hmm. They must have agreed to it individually.
Yeah, they must
They
have,
each had a deed.
they each had a deed, they all had to sign, there was a whole, yeah, it was, so this one. I'll go through and tell you who they are. Hayes Benjamin Jackson on page 2. Down, yep. Hannah Rose on page 4. She had the least amount of access. That property. Heather Ross, the one under Hannah Rose, was the one who gave. The easement. And they sold that property to, they had subdivided and sold that property to farmers that are building the house, so that's why theirs dropped. Because when you pulled out that acreage, that's what resulted, so they had a drop in their. Weston James down at the end of page 4 was included in that easement. So those were the changes that were all tied into that easement.
That is very strange.
It's been going on for a while.
And that's why her assessment, the Ross assessment goes down because they gave that easement.
And they also
And
gave
they
up that, they subdivided
that property.
that Lisa Farrar,
Which is
yeah,
Farrar.
yeah. So,
Yeah, and that Farrar, I think the one that's gonna have a new address because it's
they do, yeah, because,
one of
yeah.
3 places on there.
And,
And
and they're on here for changing, for buying that parcel. So,
Yeah.
So they're the people who were on Abenaki
Yes.
or still are?
no,
and
they sold,
they
did
they
sell
sell,
that.
that's sold to.
that sold, yeah. I think it's Duke, they're. Duke Glenn Dukes, he's on page 2, changing title, that's he going, okay. So Beach Cottage, going back to page 1. Beach Cottage had a change in assessment because they were owners, one of 7 owners of the half of the beach on Holiday Point.
Uh,
And they sold their rights to the beach to Kloof, which was on page 5. So Kloof's went up and Beach Cottage went down. There was a note that they had added some, a land grade value or ownership of that. So when I took that away, that's
That
what,
value,
yeah, that's what I added to Kloof's.
okay.
So, because Kloof's were not on the water. Beach Cottage is on the water. They have lake, they have beach right in front of their place. So it didn't come out the same, so I just added the same value to Kloof's.
Yeah.
Because they don't have lakefront, so just adding wasn't enough, so.
Mhm.
Okay,
Bobby, Karen, Bobby and James. Bobby, that they just purchased a home. That was just a change in title, no assessment changes. Same with Rovat, went to a family trust.
Yeah.
So no assessment changes. Same with Cheeseman. No assessment changes. That was just a life estate. D3 Properties purchased. I can't remember what they purchased. But that was just a change in title, no change in assessment. Tim Douglas, that was removed from a trust, that was no change in assessment. Driscoll's went to a trust, that was no change in assessment. Glen Dukes is the Abenaki property for, and they just purchased that, no change in assessment. Green Mountain Amenities, bought the Michael Ross property down on Peanuts Point, that was no change. Green Mountain Marine Services bought the storage sheds on Station Road, that was no change in assessment. Morris Grove was just a life estate, no change in assessment. James Hall purchased a trailer down on Bow and Arrow Park from his mother, that was no change in assessment. Farm Family went to a trust, that was no change in assessment. The Hayes was part of the Four Winds transaction. Holden, Louise Holden.
You should have one that's highlighted.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Jim.
Yeah, yeah.
You not?
I'm
Last page?
I don't have highlights on any of the things.
Did you not get one? Keep going though, I think you might have it past those.
stick them together.
There you go. When are you? Oh.
Yeah, because we're on.
So page, we're on page 2, down at the bottom.
Yeah, I only got one.
Yeah, we're down at the bottom of that one, we're on Bowden.
That, so I've also pulled a percent complete report and I've been trying to clean that up a little bit of these places that never got dwelling 100% complete.
Yeah.
Um,
What is this one?
This is on West Shore
West Shore.
Road. It was a big new one that was recently done and it wasn't 100% complete, so.
A new one?
Wasn't it a new one? Oh,
No, she's been there for a number of years.
it said it was like renovations and,
Well, she had something happen, whether it was a roof leak or something, because I remember she came in and wanted,
a reduction.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what the note said. And then, so it was never brought back up to 100%, so.
that was a long time ago. I was a lister at that point.
I don't think it was that long ago, because those that
Maybe
were,
it happened again, I don't know. It seemed to me it was before Tom. And so maybe it,
Oh.
you know, maybe this wasn't
Like-
the only time.
oh,
Could be.
because those that were real long ago, I didn't change. I
Yeah.
didn't change, because Tom said sometimes 100%, you do it at 95, considering the, like, if it's a rustic camp,
Condition,
yeah,
yeah,
so,
versus non-invested.
yeah, no. Keyword revocable living trust, we purchased the snack bar property next to the store. And I think the lawyer messed up with how. It should have gone under Keyworth Real Estate and not the revocable living trust, but that's fine. So it got lumped in, it's abutting that house on the hill, that's ours too, that's under the revocable trust, so I combined the two. Didn't merge them, I combined them. So that's why that
So the
changed,
difference is combined versus.
they can be sold separately. Um. Dwayne Lamont corrected acreage per survey. I think that was one of the. That was one of the notes that you guys found.
Mhm.
Christopher Clark Morton, that was just a change in title. From the estate of his father transferring to the son. Olson family, that was a. Going to a trust, no change in assessment. Ortiz was a change in title. No. Change in assessment. Jennifer Parks, change in title, no change in assessment. Carrie and Robert Pettit was a change in title, no change in assessment. Blue, we talked about, that was the place on the private beach on Holiday Point. Paul Hemus, Andrew and Lauren was just a change in title, no change in assessment. And Rose was part of and Heather Ross was part of, we've already talked about Four Winds. Kenneth Revizowitz was the place on Pleasant View Drive that we looked at and you had questioned the decks and the number that was when it was coming up with the errors. So the decks on their bunkhouse were not valued. It was throwing an error in CAMA, so I fixed that.
Is that the one that's off?
Remember there was one we had to drive up the hill, yeah, had trouble turning around. Coming back down.
Had the garage across?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Pleasant View off Pilots Point.
Off Pilots Point.
Oh, okay, yep.
And you will find them.
Shanahan was a change in title to a trust, no change in assessment. Carolyn Stone was a change in title, no change in assessment. Sullivan was a change in title. They purchased, there was two couples that owned that property and one bought out the other. Supernaut. So this was a house that was for sale on Watson's Ridge that I went with Danielle to do the certificate of compliance and there was a deck that we didn't have. So I added the deck. Terito was a change to life estate, no change in assessment. Michael and Kristen Werner was a change in title, no change in assessment. James Weston was part of the Four Winds. Elias Winthrop was a change in title, no change in assessment, and Warren Wright was the house on South End Road that the new place that was finished. And those are the changes since.
There aren't very many really.
Not really.
No.
I mean, I sent out 14, I sent out 23 letters. From. There were 46 letters, but you send 1 to 7, and 1 to buyer. Sending 2 more out, for 4 letters. Sellers and buyers, but most of these are the same as life estate. Yeah. Okay. So agenda next time would be.
No, wait, we gotta do the,
approval.
we gotta do, yep, the approval. So, as we talked about at the beginning, the final as-built grand list for 2024 is due to PBR by the 15th. There were no errors and omissions and no changes since our June. There were no changes, no corrections, nothing was brought to our attention. We didn't find anything. There was no errors and omissions, so it's exactly as was signed in June. So
I'll make a motion that we approve the as-built grand list as of 1/13/25.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we need to sign.
So you get, you want me to sign, I'll fill in the top part of the sister, if you want to fill in the top part, give you the dates and stuff. This is, if you want to see the 4/11.
So we can just sign
Right
down.
upstairs, yep, and I'll fill out the rest, and then Corinne fills out the second part when we present it to her. It's been uploaded to Vermont Pie. It's been uploaded to the state from Nemrick right after me.
On the same line. okay.
Yep, and all of our totals match.
Good news.
All is good. Good.
So, our agenda for next time.
But you can't sign because you're not listed.
Not
Yeah,
on the list right yet.
That's
Not official yet.
I know. Wonder what I got.
So we would, we would still do all these. Review of financial reports, we do the budget status report, but we wouldn't. need the
No,
other.
yeah, the others gonna be off.
And we keep the a reappraisal.
Yep.
Take off the equalization study.
Well, I'll follow up and let you know what they,
Oh, okay. Follow up on,
yeah, what they suggest, what they came back with.
and.
Yeah, that will have to
When
do,
we
yeah,
can see,
the lister, because then it'll,
He
we
fought.
still have, yeah,
because they have to wait for a select board.
right. Then we usually keep status of work in the special report. And, we could, at that point, start to, we have one weekend of any visits we made to inspections.
Yeah.
We could update on that.
Yep.
Next meeting will be February 3rd.
Yes.
Entertain a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
second, and we adjourn at 11:10. Oh,
10 o'clock.
yeah, 10 o'clock on February 3rd,
And
and I need to go do a note. It's,